What's up, IDP Army? Back again. Another episode of the IDP Army podcast. It's Jordan Rains, your hostess with the mostest. Got a good show for you. We're closing in on the fantasy football season quickly, so I'm going to do a quick update of my top 12 IDP fantasy football rankings for the top three positions: linebackers, defensive line, and defensive backs, to get you guys and gals ready to go for the season, which is right around the corner. So stick around. We got a great show for you today. As always, we want to thank our Patreons over at patreon.com/the IDP Army for making this possible for everyone. Go sign up now, get our premium rankings, premium underdog, best ball, premium redraft, premium IDP, dynasty rankings, and the dynasty index. All that is over there. Plus, you will get the extra live stream, which will be starting as soon as the season kicks off, where I'll be answering all the patrons' questions, on Saturday night before the Sunday morning live stream. But let's go ahead and jump right into it today. We'll talk a little bit of news, which I do have scrolling here at the bottom. The big one, Roquan Smith, I talked about on the last show, had, basically been wanting to get traded. Turns out, the trade market was not as hot as he had hoped, and he is going to play on the franchise tag for the Chicago Bears, is what he says. So that is good news. He has been I believe my number 2 linebacker all offseason. It didn't even move when he wasn't showing up there. I feel good that he's right back where he is, right behind Micah Parsons, which you will see, in a few minutes. Another big piece of news is not on the scroll or all down low, but Joe Schobert was signed. That was on the update last week, was signed to the Denver Broncos. They waived him today. So I didn't see anything. I literally saw that probably 10 minutes before I started the stream. Didn't see if it was like a failed physical, didn't see it was like a failed drug. I mean, I didn't see anything. It just said the Broncos have waived Joe Schobert. So, keep kicking around, I guess, if you're interested in a Broncos linebacker. He was the only one I was really interested in, just because of the resume he has. But something was off there. They didn't want him. So he's back on the streets. We'll see what happens with that. Kayvon Thibodeau. Okay, this was on Sunday night. Suffered a leg injury. It looked pretty bad, honestly, against the Bengals. A lot of people were concerned. Twitter was in an uproar. New York Giants fans were freaking out. But at the end of the game, showed him walking down the tunnel of his own, free will. Seemed like he was doing okay, and he even said, "I'm okay." That lifted people's spirits. We got the MRI results back yesterday. It's a sprained MCL. And according to what I saw Rappaport saying, it's going to be about 3 weeks before he can get back out there. So the New York Giants fans can breathe a sigh of relief. Their first round pick, their top 5, was he taking this 5 or 6? Top 6, overall pick, safe and sound, going to be out there this season. It was a little scary, especially for IDP managers like myself. I do have a lot of Kayvon Thibodeau. Other things we saw, Baker Mayfield was announced the starter. As you can see, Michael Thomas dealing with a hamstring injury. Typical Michael Thomas stuff. And then Gabe Davis had a massive game. His usage is insane. He looks good. It's so bad out here for people that don't want you to believe in Gabe Davis that they've essentially, instead of saying, maybe we were wrong, they've just resorted to bit comedy, creating fake names, fake identities, new words, kind of this pseudo-intellectual crap that they basically do with, a lot of their spreadsheet crap anyway, and make it look doctored up. They can't just say we were wrong, our process was flawed, he's special. They can't say that. They have to make a whole big spiel out of it. So whatever. We were in on Gabe Davis around here. You can go back June 23rd last year. There's a video on this channel you're watching right now where I said, get Gabe Davis on your team before it's too late, before it's cool. It's cool now. So we're glad to be around for that. And we're not taking a victory lap yet. You know what I'm saying? But nothing really trending down except for the people that want to talk about how it's trending down, which it's not. So Jaquan Brisker, thumb injury. Looks like he's going to be good to go week 1, hopefully, for the Bears as well. Khalil Herbert, another Bears injury type situation. He went down at practice, like it was Friday. People were scared. They brought the card out. It was a whole big dramatic thing, but he went out and practice in full the next day, and then he was, getting his reps and stuff. So it looks like it's okay for Khalil Herbert. Breathe your sigh of relief. Okay, everything's gonna be okay. So that's like the biggest news and updates that have kind of come out for today. We're just going to put this out there for you all, keep you up to date on my thoughts, opinions, and whatever. But just wanted to do a real quick recap of the rankings. Now, all of our rankings, the top 20 or 24 of defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs are on this channel. You can go back. I'll actually link those videos in the description of this. If you want a full podcast length show about who these players are, why we like them, how they performed last year, some of their metrics, thoughts and comments on those players. This show is just going to be about, people that are showing up right now and they need something quick, a quick hitter. Who are the top guys? Who I need to look for? Who am I going to start my team out with? So I put this together. I wanted to quickly go over these guys. There has been a few small changes based on, off of some things that have come out, injuries, etc. But nothing major has changed. So these rankings will look pretty similar to the ones that you will see if you go back and watch those older videos and, get a little bit more insight into these players. They should all be time-stamped as well. So you're welcome. All right, let's get right to it. We'll start with our linebackers. So my top 12 linebackers for this year are Micah Parsons, number 1, Roquan Smith, number 2, Devin White, number 3, Jordan Brooks, number 4, Shaquille Leonard, number 5, Bobby Wagner, number 6, Foye Oluokun, 7, Devondre Campbell, 8, Eric Kendricks, 9, Blake Martinez, 10, Logan Wilson at 11, and CJ Mosley at 12. Thoughts, quick hits right here. 1, Micah Parsons probably going to do a lot of edge snaps again this year. We're okay with that. He still is an off-ball linebacker to kind of start, his career. The tackle floor and the instincts to make those tackles is going to be there. So even if he does play mostly edge, he's going to present a very high floor, and we already know he has a high ceiling. Not to throw TJ Watt's name out there, but it's a similar sort of package of player you're going to get in the way that he plays. He's very disruptive. He is going to get his sacks. He is going to get his tackles for loss. He is going to bat balls down. He's going to do everything you want to have turnover opportunities. Plus, he's going to be out there making plays on every down. He plays hard, so he'll get plenty of tackles. So Micah Parsons is my number 1 this year. Shaquille Leonard, coming down here at 5. The back injury, surgery, neck, ankle, these things have been piling up for years now. Still an amazing points per snap player, points per game player, but we're not even sure if he's going to be out there week 1 right now. And at this point in the season, it's risky. So I can't take him as a rock solid high end linebacker 1. In that mid linebacker 1. Sure, I'll still take the name value over some of those guys, assuming he gets out there. But again, you are taking a lot more risk on with him than I think that in the past we have been able to admit. Other quick hitters, I brought up Roquan Smith. He's been at 2 for me all offseason. He's staying at 2. Love what he's done. He's a tackle machine. He's a big play machine. Had a lot of tackles for loss 2 years ago. Not quite as many this year, but he had the second most tackles in the whole league. Second or third. He had 20 impact plays this last year. Incredible for an off-ball linebacker. 33 the season before. So we know he can get up there. He's still on that rookie deal. So love me some Roquan. Bobby Wagner at 6. I'll be honest. I probably am. By the time you go check the rankings on the website, he'll probably be at 5, and I'll probably move Shaquille Leonard down even one more. Bobby Wagner is Bobby Wagner. He's playing on the Rams now. They like to use one linebacker primarily when they can, and Bobby Wagner's already commanding the defense, calling the shots, has the red dot, or the green dot, not the red dot. So he's going to be out there for all the plays. Lots of equity there. Final thoughts on the back half here. Love Blake Martinez. Love Logan Wilson. Love CJ Mosley. Of those 3, all of them, I think, honestly do possess, that top 5 upside. So if you want to skimp on linebacker, wait a little bit, take, if you're in a mixed league, you want to take that third wide receiver, or start getting your flexes filled out, you're going to be able to get guys like Blake Martinez, like Logan Wilson, like CJ Mosley, even Eric Kendricks, Devondre Campbell, much later in your drafts comparatively to Micah Parsons, Roquan Smith. And I think, I think your chances of hitting the upside that they have is very similar. So those are my top 12 linebackers going into the 2022 season. Let's go ahead and move on to the defensive linemen. All right. Number 1, obviously TJ Watt. 2, I have Nick Bosa. 3, Myles Garrett. 4, Harold Landry might surprise some people, might shock some people. 5, I have Shaquille Barrett. 6, I have Danielle Hunter. 7, I have Trey Hendrickson. 8, Robert Quinn. One of my favorite 0 DL targets over the last 2 years. Was an incredible player last year. I won't go on a tangent too much. Aaron Donald coming at 9. Cam Hayward at 10. Cam Jordan at 11. And Zadarius Smith at 12. Quickly, the things I want to point out, both edge rushers from Minnesota are on this list at 6 and 12. Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter are both premier pass rushers in the NFL, both under 30 still, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check this, but um, still 29 years old for Zadarius, and Danielle Hunter is 27. So still both under 30, still in their absolute prime. There's been tweets coming out, a lot of crazy tweets about how incredible they've looked together, playing together. People have forgotten the kind of player Zadarius Smith is, honestly, because he's kind of, missed a little time here and there, missed quite a bit of last year. But he's coming off 2 seasons before this, 13 and a half sacks, 12 and a half sacks, career best in, that first year, 37 quarterback hits in 2019. Didn't get an all-pro vote, which is kind of lame. Will say doesn't do a lot as far as, the batting the passes and the forcing the fumbles. He did have 4 forced fumbles in 2020, but before that, not an overly disruptive player. Again, though, he wasn't getting a lot of snaps with Baltimore. But just circling back around now with Minnesota, I love him. I love him there. I love him across from Danielle Hunter. I was looking on DraftKings. I think his over-under on sacks is like 10 and a half. I don't know if, we have some sports bettors out there. I feel like that was a good over to take. So if you want to go check that out, maybe put a little futures bet on Zadarius Smith to get the over. Harold Landry, why is he so high? Honestly, it's because he's earned it. He's good. He deserves it. I'm going to take a look here at his production profile real quick in the index. He's a tier 2 player in the index, which is our, our premier product. But looking here, 0.26 points per snap last year, 0.2 the year before. Now, why was he still ranked pretty high for him the year before that? His snaps. He plays a ton of snaps for an edge player. 981 in 2021, 1,048 in 2020. Out there a lot. Now, the sacks, this was the first year in his career he actually did hit double-digit sacks this last season. He did get 12. Love to see that. But the thing that's kept him in my rankings, he's been in my top 15 the last 2 years, is the tackle numbers. He gets a really high number of tackles, partly because, he is playing a high number of snaps for an edge, but also because he just does. Like, it's just something he's done year over year. He's been a very efficient tackler. 75 tackles this last year, 69 the year before, 68 the year before that. So that's 3 seasons of pushing up well past that 65 number that I really think is kind of where you start getting your elite sort of floors. He's got 3 seasons of that. And now he's tacked on 14 tackles for loss and 12 sacks last year. He's really coming into his own. So I'm betting on him because I don't think that he is as boom and bust as a lot of other players. And even some of the players down this list, Danielle Hunter, even Robert Quinn, you could get seasons with some of these guys, if things go a certain type of way. With anybody, but with these guys in particular, where you do have question marks, maybe they do, finish 18, 20, 25, because the sacks aren't there, they have an injury or whatever. Harold Landry is an Iron Man. He's going to play. He's going to get the job done. That's worth a lot at the DE or DL position, which I kind of liken to tight ends, where you want the top guys. And if you can't get the top guys, then it's really sack dependent, or touchdown dependent. Harold Landry, with his floor, with the amount of snaps that he plays, he should be looked at as a top DL, in my opinion. You don't have to pay top DL price for him, though. Other comments, we did have TJ Watt, obviously number 1, and Cam Hayward at 2. And if you look at the scroller here at the bottom, go check out the site, because I have all of my redraft rankings are up there for all the IDP players, so you can see past the top 12. I have little write-ups on some of the players in there, not all of them, but some. You should be able to see that on the website as well. And that should give you an idea of some of the in-depth things you will see if you do decide to join the Patreon and get the Ultimate IDP Index, because that stuff gets pulled straight from there, put onto the site, just to show you guys a little bit of what I'm thinking there. So final thoughts on this list. If you want to, the guys I think are going to be the cheapest on this list to get, the ones that you could actually go for. I think Nick Bosa is a steal, even if you get him as the second DL player. He's going to go probably around two probably max after TJ Watt, but he's the only player here on this list that I think that really can hang, and not like hang as in like actually hang with TJ Watt, but I think he's going to be second for a while. Like I think he's going to be better than Myles Garrett and IDP for a while. I think he's going to be better than Aaron Donald's days. In my opinion, his best days are behind him. I've talked about kind of go back and watch the DL video. I talked about how his year this last year was different, even though his points were the same, and just some reasons that I saw. I mean, just go watch if you want to check that out. So, some players not on here. Joey Bosa. Quickly, we'll say, go check out the DL video I did. I think he's like my DL 15 this year. There's just some red flags with Bosa, and we're in year 5 or 6 with him in the league. It's time to just start accepting he is who he is, which is a great pass rusher. But for fantasy, his upside just literally is not as high as we thought. So go check that out. So we have a comment. Yo, Anthony Ballister says, what up? What up, Anthony? Thanks for sliding through. We are always happy to be giving out the good stuff. Finally, last update, top 12 defensive backs. The biggest mover on this list was Jamal Adams. He did go down a spot. I'll read the list off for the podcast folks at home. 1, we have Derwin James this year as my top defensive back. That is new. I'm finally in on Derwin James at number 1. He does it all, and he's not hurt right now. So give him his due. So we have Derwin James, Harrison Smith at 2, Jamal Adams at 3, Antoine Winfield at 4, Logan Ryan at 5. So a pair of safeties on the same team at 4 and 5. 6, Budda Baker. 7, I have Jordan Poyer. 8, Justin Simmons. 9, Minkah Fitzpatrick. 10, Kevin Byard, who is up 3 or 4 spots from where I had him in the rankings. And if you watch the older rankings video, 11, Kenny Moore, and then 12, I have Tracy Walker, who's also up a spot or 2. I did move Trevon Diggs down just a little bit, Jalen Ramsey down just a smidge, but they're both still top 24 defensive backs for me, even at cornerback. Like I said, go check out the website, idparmy.com. But my notes here on this group of players, Winfield and Logan Ryan are in a great spot. Todd Bowles loves to use his safeties aggressively. That's where we, kind of got the idea that Jamal Adams could be a super, really be a super duper star was when he was used like that, when he was used as a weapon. Antoine Winfield is a weapon, built a little differently, yes, but he's a scrappy safety. And he's like the honey badger, he's a playmaker. Logan Ryan finishes the number 1 overall defensive back 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. It was the first year I played IDP. He was playing like a pseudo cornerback safety role for the Titans at that point. But has since then gone on to the New York Giants, where he had, very good IDP seasons. And now he is with Tampa Bay with Todd Bowles. I love that for him. I think he's going to have kind of a bounce back year. And again, not that he had a bad year, but I think he's really going to put his name out there as a guy, as a defensive guy to keep an eye on this year. So watch Logan Ryan and Antoine Winfield. They're going to get a lot of pub. When Tom Brady gets off the field, they're going to get talked up a lot. Budda Baker, even though Jalen Thompson had more points and tackles and whatever else, I'm still in on Budda Baker. Again, go back and watch the video. I break down a little bit of why I don't want to overreact and just dump Budda Baker down my rankings. He still finished as a top 15 defensive back last year. He was just a handful of points for finishing as a top 10 guy. So don't overcompensate for the fact that he wasn't just your rock solid, DB1, didn't finish as the DB1, 2, 3 this year. And I mean, his tackles did go down, but something can go one way, something can go the other way too. We saw it. He had the consistent production year over year with the high tackle numbers. That's why we believed in him. They go down. There's no reason they can't also go back up. Point in case, Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's been a 75 tackle guy his whole career until this last year. Almost doubles his previous tackle total. I think what do you have, like 130, 140 maybe total tackles this last year. As a safety that, again, nobody said, everybody said, well, that's not going to happen, not for Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's just a free safety. He's just a free safety. He plays too deep. He's all the interceptions will go away and he won't be any good for IDP. He's been good for IDP every fucking game since the haters said that. So what you going to do? All right. He was 124 tackles last year. 11 plays on the ball, 12 impact plays, which was low for him again. But you see this with safeties where sometimes there'll be more big play guys where they're making the plays on the ball. And even those seasons where they don't make all those big plays, it kind of slides the other way where they end up getting more tackles. So even though they're not producing the same way, again, which is why you need to get the ultimate IDP index and look at these production profiles, you can see that their score, their points, their snaps, points per snap are staying relatively close to the same. And that's a good player, a player that can win either way, with the big plays or with the solid floor. And if you can see that fluctuation, and some guys as they get older have, less tackles and more big plays. Some guys as they get older have more big plays and less tackles because they're playing different styles of football. But it's interesting to get to kind of observe that from an IDP standpoint. Jordan Poyer, Harrison Smith, good examples. Go look at their scores, look in the index, and look at the seasons where they've had high tackle numbers, and then see what kind of impact play numbers they had those years. And look at the years they had super high impact play numbers, in those 20s. Look what their tackles were that year. So these are things you can see when you get, you slide into the IDP army for real. So, anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say. Tracy Walker, have been in on him for a while. That's kind of been one of my guys for the past 3 seasons. Happy to be back on him again this year. Really a leader of the defense, had the most tackles in that league, I think, or on the Lions the last 2 seasons, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, got some questions up in here. Yes, sir. Back for year 2 with the IDP Army, ready for the season. Hey, we appreciate that more than you know. Thank you, Anthony. And we got Nathan Keener Reigns. What's up? I see Buddha on the board. How you feeling about Jalen Thompson this year? I still like Jalen Thompson. Go to the site idparmy.com. I think Jalen Thompson is currently my defensive back 15 or 16. So I'm still very much in on him. Kind of broke out last year. I think this is a contract year for him too. So that's another thing that he kind of has going for him. Let me see here. Where's he at? Yeah, he's my defensive back 15 this year. So I'm still in on him. And I think that, we did see, what was that, 4 years ago, where Tyrann Mathieu and Budda Baker were both very good safeties there. So we have seen, it's not uncommon for 2 really good safeties to score fairly high in fantasy football IDP. I mean, even Thompson and Baker last year, I think Baker finished as DB 15 or 16, 13. And then Thompson was DB 5 or 6. So they're flip-flopped in my rankings a little bit, but again, it's not uncommon for some of these certain teams to produce high-level players at the same position. So hopefully that answers your question. What we got here? It says, I love it. I stay updated on the board during the season and even the Dynasty Nerds ranks. IDP, keep killing it, my dude. Yeah, I don't work at Dynasty Nerds anymore, but Bomber, who is part of the channel and a big part of the IDP, our community manager, he is over there holding it down. I think he's one of their rankers for IDP. I know he writes for them. So if you're checking rankings, check Bombers. They're the best. I don't know. They might not be the best, but they probably are. Okay. Before I go, we're 23 minutes in. Go another minute or two. We're in the Big Dog Bash IDP Army. If you follow Nick Ercolano and his company brand, whatever, he has the Bash. He has this NFT. We're in the tournament. We're out for blood and we want to win. Okay. Our draft is on Sunday night, August 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to probably live stream it, okay, to the channel. Would love to have as many of you here as we can. Check out our team, see how we're going to do. We're in League 31, which apparently, shout out to League 31. There's supposed to be some real hitters in there. So I'm excited to be in League 31 because I'm a real hitter. And they're all going to know about it soon, hopefully. IDP Army, I'm in there representing us. If anybody else in the IDP Army is in there, holler at me. So let's make sure that we vibe and we hold it down for the whole squad. And if anybody's interested in getting in it, you can go buy the NFT on OpenSea. They're kind of expensive right now because this is the most exclusive, most meaningful, most competitive, most well-documented fantasy football league ever. Okay, so we're going to go win it, and then it's to the moon. So, anywho, is there any other news I wanted to give out? Just shout out to the guys on Offensive Points. They put out a lot of good content for us. All 32 teams we broke down on the channel. Go check that out. There's a whole playlist you can check out. Literally offense, defense, sleepers, busts, breakouts, all here for every team. Pick your team. Hear what we have to say about it. Think about it. I have like 4 drafts I need to put out still of other videos that they've been doing. So they've been killing it. The content is primo. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's engaging. Like I've said time and time again, Billy and Joe are honestly like 2 of the smartest, best dynasty players. Josh knows the Eagles inside and out. He's actually, changed my mind on Jalen Hurts, which, speaking of which, I will be doing a video just like this with just the offense. That'll be probably out tomorrow or something. So give you my offensive rankings updated, but I know what you guys are really here for is the IDP. So anyway, IDP Army, that's all from me. I hope you've enjoyed this show. I think we have like 1-2 more shows and it's going to be season time. So make sure you're kicking it with us. I'm going to be posting the schedule so you'll know when we're doing spaces, when we're doing live streams, what's Patreons only, what's going to be for everybody. Answering any and all questions. We have the IDP Alpha chat on Twitter. We have the Discord. Gear up. It's fantasy football season is here. Weekly fantasy. Go check out our sponsors over at the Underdog. Let's see here. You can use our code IDP Army. Use our code, you'll get a $100 deposit match bonus, or you can just click the link down in the description. Does the same thing. Play a lot of seasonal Underdog fantasy. Weekly drafts are so much fun. I have money sitting on my Underdog right now, and I'm not doing any more season-long tournaments or anything. So I'm saving it for like that week 1, week 2, week 3 fantasy drafts, because that's where it gets really, really fun on Underdog, in my opinion, is those weekly drafts, those weekly contents. It's DFS without the bots and the models and the computers running all the sims and all that crap. Okay. It's just men and women sitting on their couches late at night, watching Netflix, picking players for Sunday morning. All right. So I hope to see you in there. Click the link, that side in the description down below. Join the Patreon. That's all I got for you, Goonies. All right. So be good or be good at it.